Hi students, this is project number 12 for the school year. This project has a lot going on in it, and it's going to be kind of a review of some other projects we've done in the past. Now, do you remember when we did this project? Perspective. The closer the object to you, the bigger it is. Okay, we did it with images. This was one of our very first projects, perspective. Big tree in the front, smallest tree farther back. Do you remember that? Now, the project that I'm going to introduce today is also based on perspective, but instead of using images like we use the trees and we use the penguins, we're going to do it with color. Here is the project. Okay, now if you look at it, the lamp, the street lamp, the trees are closest to us. They are the biggest, and they are the darkest in color. The road, it's the widest, closest to us. As the road goes distant, it becomes skinnier or thinner and harder to see a little bit. This is obviously a snowy scene, and if you see in the very distance, there's buildings. And if you see, they're a light color, so they look like they're far away. Now, this project includes composition. Do you remember when I talked about composition, boys and girls? Composition. Before I started this project, I used my mind and figured out how can I explain to my students how to present perspective with color. So I thought about how I was going to set this project up, and I wanted to make the project interesting to look at, and also I wanted it to explain to you perspective by using color and shapes. So that, boys and girls, is the start of a composition of art. When you think about what you're going to do and how you're going to present it ahead of time, and then you put it on paper. Composition. Okay, and also we're looking at perspective again, but by using color. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, also, this picture is very interesting because I have spaced out objects such as trees in the background, buildings, and then light posts and trees close to us to make it look real. So it has a nice space to it. Space is also important in this, and we talked about space before. Do you notice how I spaced things out in this picture? Now, I also used some different colors. I used some beiges and like brownish tones and purple. Because usually if I'm going to show snow, in the past, I've used a lot of blue. But I decided to change it up and use purple. Now, blue and purple are cool colors. So it's still going to feel chilly and it's still going to look like snow, but I thought I would change it to a purple tone. And then, of course, the sky has purple in it because it's a reflection The sky is reflecting somewhat off of the white snow. That is why it's purple. Does everybody understand that? This is a reflection of the sky because snow is white and it reflects color. It's also reflecting the brownish tones. Okay, so this is it. We're going to get started with this. Okay, boys and girls, also, I'm using a different medium in this, and a medium is the manner in which we create art, whether we're going to use paints, colored pencils, oil pastels. That is a medium in art. This particular drawing, or I'm going to say painting drawing, I did in colored pencils and pastels or chalk, soft chalk. Okay, we're trying something a little different this time. So the first thing I did the work in the colored pencils first. Now, if you notice, I start out with the first light post, and I'm going to outline it because I already have the lines drawn for you, so you can outline it. And then, since it is so close to us, we're going to show some value on the light pulse, which means we're going to shade it so it looks round. And I'm going to show you how to do that. One side is going to be colored dark. So I'm just going to color the one side. And if you notice, I'm going just to a little bit to the middle. And I know it's a very thin area, but just try to go a little bit to the middle. Press on your colored pencil to make it darker. And then lighten, just lightly color it in on the other side, on the left side. Does everybody see how I did that? So now it looks round. It looks like it has some shape to it. It's not just one color. I mean, it's one color, it's black, but it's light on one side and dark on the other side. Now let me show you how I do a circle. Here is a circle right here. I'm going to outline it, and then I'm going to color the bottom of it dark, almost like an eyeball. And then I'm going to color in this very lightly. So that makes this circle shape look like a ball. Everybody understand that? I'm going to do that again. And this is creating what's called in art value or shading. Okay, here I am shading it again, just around this edge, and then I'm coloring it in lightly, like that. Then I'm going to outline my line. This is kind of a pole here. And I'm going to darken it on the bottom and then just color it in lightly on the top. Does everybody see? How real does that look? It looks pretty real, doesn't it? And it wasn't that hard to do. Just remember, dark and then very light in the same area. Okay? So after I color this in, I'm going to move to the tree. Now, the tree is going to be a dark brown. And I'm going to outline the tree like this. And also, tree has bark, so I'm going to do short strokes and perhaps some circular to make it look like bark. I'm going to do it dark on one side. Just short strokes to about the middle, just like I did the light post. And then I'm going to color in the other side. I can do some short strokes, but they're going to be much lighter. I don't press as hard. Everybody see that? If you have any questions, you can always send me an email, have your teacher send me an email, and maybe I can come and help you. Now, this is the first time we're doing something like this, so it's okay if it's not perfect. This is art, and it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? But I'm just trying to teach you some skills right now to show different things in art. And right now we're trying to show texture and value. So here we are doing this branch dark on the bottom and then lighter on the top. Okay? Does everybody understand that? You're going to do that on the branches too. Outline them. Okay, the bottom, just like the light post, is going to be dark, and then the top is going to be lighter. Okay? Does everybody see how that kind of looks real? Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with this light. Now this tree here is going to be a much lighter brown because it's farther away. And if you notice, it's smaller. Then it's not necessarily a smaller tree, but it's farther away from this. So it's going to appear to be smaller. And this one here, I'm going to basically just color this one in because we're not going to see much detail on this. I'm going to put a few dark strokes in there, but pretty much color it in. Okay? Now, the buildings. You're going to use a warm gray for the buildings. And here's how I did the windows. First of all, I'm going to outline it. Okay? And I'm going to color strips, almost like stripes. Okay, does everybody see that? How I'm coloring kind of stripes. And I'm going to turn my paper and I'm going to color in the entire roof. And then I'm going to do stripes again down here where I think some windows should be. Okay, you see how that gives us a window appearance? Okay. Now these buildings are all the same color, this gray. Some of them have windows. You don't have to put windows in every single one. Like for example, this one right here, I'm just going to color this in gray. Okay, when I'm done with all the buildings, then I'm going to take the same brown that I did this tree in, the tree that's farther away, And I'm going to put in my little trees. And these I'm just going to color in because they're small. And I'm going to do this. I'm not going to worry about any kind of shading on these trees because they're farther away. And that's why they're so small looking. They're not really that small, but they're small looking because they're farther away. And that is perspective. Okay. Now, this is part one of the video because I want you to do all the colored pencil work first. So you're going to color in the lampposts, the trees that are farther away, and the buildings. That is our first part of the project. And I'll be back with the second part, number two. Okay, have a great day.